Hey, it's Tpok. I'm back in Katawa Shoujo, and I'm gonna continue talking with Lilly. I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. Ah, the library. As good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. The library it is. We'll check there first, then. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowds seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large, by any other school's standards. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lilly anticipates every door and obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hands skating along the hallway railings. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here a few years now. I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up though sometimes. I haven't been there as long and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories. That explains why the male and female dorms look different from the outside and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I assumed she'd be living in the dormitory since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. That's right, you mentioned that before. I'd assumed that most of the students here lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to in any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching on a delicate point. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of those with reasons is Hanako, hence her tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that. I thought you were coming to dislike it. What about you, though? My reversal of Lily's statements takes her by surprise. I've been here for a while, so... It's not that. You seem pretty depressed about Akira. What's with that look? Akira's taken. Sorry, Hisao. Wait, what? Lilly never sees how fast my palm meets my face at her sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern. Okay, I gotta see what I said. What did I say? What about you, though? Been here for a while. I don't know how she reversed that. When she gives an amused grin, we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely devoid of anyone else. Given that there are no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed the usual library rules. I call out to her. Hey, Hanako. Hanako is here? As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book, probably the same one she'd been reading on Friday. Wasn't that Life of Pi or something? Hisao? Lilly? Just thought we'd drop by. Lilly just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help. That wasn't really an escape. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lilly might not be enjoying the festival. Well, now we can enjoy it together, right? The two nodded happily before we set out of the library towards the festivities. Why couldn't Hanako be like that in her own playthrough? What was that? I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the 2 styrofoam cups of tea. I try to accentuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those 2 in the gardens while I brought drinks. Trying to judge the 2 cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself out of a vending machine isn't exactly easy. With some careful maneuvering, though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lilly and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place. Lit only by moonlight, it's tucked away some distance from the main events. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Hisao. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close and even Hanako hasn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer. Much of the food may have been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lilly. In fact, I think those 2 may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. With both Lilly and I around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Hanako, come on. Why couldn't you? And now you're okay with fireworks? Jeez. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first firework rings out before it explodes in a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end for the festival. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowd scattered around the school grounds celebrating them. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watch the fireworks overhead as Lilly blissfully listens to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular, and patterned, and all manner of shapes and colors fill the air, one after the other, and dance across the sky. No place near where I lived put on such lavish displays. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these 2 is probably the happiest I've been in a long while. So, that's it. The festival's finally ending. Yep. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. I walk forwards and stand beside Lilly, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we still have Tanabata later in the year, right? I don't know what that is. You're right, it would be nice to go there when it comes. Minutes of silence pass with only the blast of fireworks to be heard. Seeing these 2 reminds me of those words of advice Lilly had given to me as we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey, Lilly. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening, Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. You mind if I join you 2 for tea every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be a pleasure, Hisao. And so begins... Yes. Okay, Act 2 begins. Past. I'm guessing that's Lilly as a kid. I wake to the annoying din of my alarm clock, its bright red numerals lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home, one of the few remaining artifacts of my days before coming to Yamaku. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into this new life. No such luck, though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wipe the sleep out of my eyes, then reach over to my desk. I open a couple of the bottles of medication strewn across it and swallow a few pills dry. By now, the process is starting to become automatic. Something I should be glad for, given their purpose. Oh no. Feeling much more awake than before, I wander into the bathroom. Has this already happened? I don't remember if this happened. While the shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. The bright colors of the fireworks fill my mind, as do the two girls with whom I've spent my time watching them. It feels strange to be moved by so much by people I know so little about. Then again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances. At least I have someone to talk to now, aside from my schoolmate next door, who will be here shortly. It's gonna be right there. With the time left before school begins today waning. With the time left before school begins today waning, I begin to get ready for class. Hey, he didn't show up. Awesome. Walking through the door into the classroom, I notice that I'm still somewhat early. I see about 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as if they'd rather be still in bed. It's at times like this that I appreciate being a morning person. That said, 2 students in particular seem just as perky as always. Hi Shizune. Hi Misha. I suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. She doesn't seem overly bothered. Or interested, for that matter. Hello Hichan, are you feeling well? I can only assume her greeting comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking about as herself or Shizune sometimes. Better than most everyone else, I guess. You two seem bright and chipper. Misha signs this back to Shizune as I say it, eliciting a somewhat terse answer, if her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indication. Considering that these two made such a big deal out of the festival preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. What? Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune continues unabated. Shizune, I don't even know. Shizune, E. I'm just gonna say Shizune, because I say that anyways. Wow, your contribution to class 3-2 stall is appreciated. Huh, word got around quickly. That or the two of their fingers on the pulse of the school. We would prefer your efforts to be focused on the task at hand, namely your own class. As much as I hate to admit, they do have a point. Before I can respond though, Shizune... Now I say Shizune. Fine. Add something more, which draws a smile from Misha. Did you enjoy the festival then? Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you two enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces her head up and down. The contrast side by side is amusing. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students starting to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they're a few minutes late. I look over to Hanako's seat and realize she's already there and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. But she's happy. Why couldn't she be so happy when I was... Oh, come on. With heavy footsteps coming up the hallway signaling Mitao's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end and I take my seat next to Misha. As the door slides open, he strides through with a ponderous gait. His posture is even worse than usual, and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lilly and Hanako about the staff was misplaced. Everyone opens their books as he reaches his desk, and the first class of the new week begins. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for some temporary reprieve from my work. I'm entirely unsurprised. Oh, okay, I was surprised. I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lilly standing there, cane in hand, patiently waiting for Hanako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decide to spend my lunchtime with them rather than eat alone. Whoa, that was fast. Hanako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the two enter the hallway before I can catch up. Lilly's head turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her. As Hanako notices and follows her lead, she almost jumps in surprise. Hisao? Hello, Hisao. Hi, sorry if I startled you. Lilly turns to greet me, helped in her orientation by Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisao. Are you joining us? If it's no trouble, there's not much else to do, really. Lilly gives a small nod, as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be troubling in the least. We descend one set of stairs, and walk down the hallway to the usual room. Our pace somewhat quicker than usual, thanks to Lilly using Hanako for direction, rather than her cane in the railings. As expected, it's deserted. The sounds of other clubs can only barely be heard as sunlight streams into the room from outside. Looking around the room, I notice a couple of empty easels propped up against a wall that I don't think were there before. The art club must use this room as extra storage. Should I get the chess set out? Oh yeah. Hanako's voice seems less tense when she's directly addressing Lilly. Yes, I'll make tea while you sort the pieces. I can do that for you if you'd like. She ponders the offer for a moment before smiling, confirming that I've made the right choice. Her face is remarkably easy to read. Very well, thank you. Okay. She slides her retracted cane into the handle of her bag and sets it against one of the table legs before taking a seat opposite Hanako. As I prepare tea for the three of us, I can hear the small wooden pieces being set on the board. I wonder how good Lilly is at chess given her circumstances. By the time I place the steaming teacups onto the table, Lilly and Hanako have already moved their first pieces as they nibble on sandwiches and rice balls from their respective bags. I notice that the chessboard they're using has holes in the middle of each square and the pegs at the bottom of the pieces, and each dark square is slightly raised. Oh, okay. Watching Lilly's fingers skating over the board tracing out the positions of the pieces makes me marvel a little at the simple ingenuity of the design. It must be made specifically for blind players. Here you go. Hisao's got his eyes on Hanako still, I see. Hanako gives a small nod as I put down the cup next to her side of the board. Lilly's hand ventures sideways slightly, so I gently place the cup touching the tips of her fingers, a gesture she seems to appreciate. I finally take a seat and silently sip my tea as the two play. The contrast in their appearances while playing is interesting to watch. Hanako looks closely at the board, her face one of focused concentration. Lilly, on the other hand, keeps her head level and maintains her calm neutrality. Lilly's gentle voice addresses both of us as she continues to play. How is class now that the festival's over? I look to Hanako to see whether she'll answer first, but see that she's doing the same. Not great. Half the class seemed to be dozing off, even including the teacher, not to mention a test on top of all of that. Hanako quietly adds her own agreement with this. I could imagine that being a bit difficult for you being a transfer student. Well, I think I did fine, other than the shock of a test coming so early. Science is probably my best subject. How'd you do, Hanako? Me? Okay, I guess. Hanako's too sincere to be able to put off lying very well. That much is obvious. Lilly's smile slips very slightly. From her reaction, Hanako mustn't be skilled enough at academics to do very well without preparation. How did your class handle it, Lilly? It went surprisingly well, actually. Only one student was absent, which was better than what the teacher expected. Bet it was Kenji. With the topic all but run dry, the two concentrate on their chess game once again. Can't say I've ever liked the idea of chess as a spectator sport, but given its unique nature, for once I'm wrapped in watching the game unfold. As the time wears on, both of them demonstrate decent skill at playing the game, even though none of their pieces have moved. Having captured 2 or more pawns than Hanako, Lilly has the upper hand, but only slightly. Until Hanako makes a strange move with her queen. Seizing upon this lapse in judgment, Lilly takes the piece with her knight. Without hesitation, Hanako moves a pawn to take Lilly's rook on the opposite side of the board and promotes it to queen. Lilly's face falters as her fingers move over the pieces, and she realizes that she just fell for Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have the board traced out after each move, but even if it's out of necessity. Judging by Hanako's lack of reaction, she must be used to this. She and Lilly must have played at least a few games of chess against each other after all. Check. That's not bad at all. Nice, Hanako. The compliment causes her to flower into a surprised blush. Thank you. I didn't think it would work. I look over to Lilly, her fingers having just finished tracing out the position of her remaining pieces in an attempt to extricate her king from this bind. I think this is checkmate. Well, I will continue this chess game later. Finishing the Promise of Time, and this being the beginning of Act 2. Earl Grey, that's the T,